The Quran and the Hadiths teach that Christians are always second-class citizens. They are always the dhimmi, and the dhimmi is always beneath the Muslim. And that is institutional Christophobia within Islam.
Yeah, I need to say something.
I want to point out, ladies and gentlemen,
You pay tax to the British government.
that right now,
Not 50%.
right now, ladies and gentlemen, Hamas has more control of what happens in the streets of France than the President of France does.
What?
The President of France
It's the same thing.
forbid pro-Hamas protests against pro-Hamas protests in the street of France. But the leadership of Hamas called for protests across the world. And so what we saw in the streets of London and the streets of Paris and the streets of New York was adulation, support and celebration for the act of mass murder, rape, indiscriminate against old and young alike in our streets. And madam, I'll take questions in a second. Do you want to ask a question? Let me finish this point and then I'll take a point.
Thank you. That was I was.
Fine. We should all be concerned that in our Western society, a terrorist organization is able to have more say on what happens in our streets than our own governments. We can't expect those who are bought into Hamas to think any differently, but all of you who are not Muslims, all of you who are not the allies of terrorists, should be alarmed by the fact that terrorists have more control over what is happening in our streets than your own governments. Now, the lady was very patient. She asked very politely. So, madam, if you'd like to make a point before I continue, what would you like to say?
Thank you so much, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate it. You just said something about the Quran, and that's institutional, that basically in the Quran itself, that it says that the Christians are actually second-class citizens of the Muslims and stuff. And that is not true. That's what I wanted to actually kind of like stop you at, and instead it's not a question. It's more of actually an argument that says, please, 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 do read the Quran, and if you're not able to explain it or to actually understand it, we have scholars that actually just really completely dedicated to explaining the Quran and exactly what it means, every expression of it. Because it's
allow me to reply.
It's hard to understand it, even for us actually. Even for us, it's hard to understand just the Quran from its face value, right?
Allow me to reply, madam. I get your point.
Sure.
I get your point.
I'll just, there was this thing, and then the second thing. So this is one thing, and then the second.
Madam, let me reply. I took a point. Let me reply to that point.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the point is, I am being accused of misrepresenting Islam. If you don't believe me, go and speak to the Coptic Christians of Egypt and ask them what it meant to be treated like a dhimmi. If you don't believe me, go and speak to the Assyrian Christians from Syria and Iraq and ask them what it meant to be treated like a dhimmi. If you don't believe me, go and speak to the Sudanese Christians and ask them what it meant to be treated like a dhimmi. If you don't believe me, go and speak to the Lebanese Christians and ask them what it meant to be treated like a dhimmi. Don't listen to the apologetical lies of the Muslim. Go and speak to the people who have endured dhimmitude for 1400 years in Armenia, in Turkey, in Greece, Go and speak to the Christians who have suffered what a dimitude is, not what the apologists try to tell you it is. Madam, before you make another point, let me make one more point in my talk, and then you can make another point. Okay, let me make another point in my talk, and then I'll take another point. No, madam, let me make one more point in my talk, and then I'll take another point from you. Let me make one more point in my talk, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to dialogue with anyone. All I ask is that you be courteous. Let me continue with my talk making a point, and then I will allow you to come back with whatever point you make. And as you can see, I've just done that, and we will continue in that fashion. But I am here to make a speech, and so I do want to progress in the speech that I'm making. So returning to the talk, the security forces of the West right now have a brilliant opportunity. All of the Islamist dogs in our society are showing their face. All of the jihadi scum in the West are showing the world who they are. Western intelligence services should be taking names, should be tracing phone numbers, should be tracking emails, and should be identifying Islamist sympathizers everywhere in the West. And then our state should deport them all, even if they have to do it one a week for years to come until they are all removed. Those who have voiced support for Hamas in your workplace should be reported to the HR, and every employer that has a sympathizer with Hamas should be removed from their employment. Government contracts should be removed from employers that don't sack, ladies and gentlemen, those that are sympathetic to the Islamists. Refugee claims should be rejected if the one claiming the refugee status is found to be sympathetic to Islamists. We cannot allow that our country be a home to Islamists who despise our way of life, despise our values, despise the way that we want to live, ladies and gentlemen. And right now we have the best opportunity to identify who they are and to act against them, because they are telling us who they are right now. Now, except for the heckler, before I move on, would anyone like to make a point or ask a question? He got in there first, sir.
The Hamas attacks smell like Pearl Harbor and the Lusitania. I think they were allowed to happen.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the brother tries to say that the Hamas attacks were allowed to happen. I want to counsel you all. I want to counsel you all to not listen to the lies of the Islamist apologists. It was a false flag attack. It was made up. The Jews killed 1,300 of their own citizens. 9/11 was an inside job. Ladies and gentlemen, if you believe this kind of conspiratorial nonsense, you are a fool. You are an unwise fool. Hamas admits they did the attack. Hamas admits they did the attack. But notice the alt-left and the Islamists are united in blaming the Jews.
Brother, can I ask you a question real quick?
Wait. I'm going to make one more point in my talk and then I'll let you ask a question. Yeah? No, let me make one more point in my talk and then I'll come to you. Yeah. Right, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, he's next. Right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not responding to hecklers, JC. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to point out that we should be concerned that we have imported women like that into our society. She should lose her citizenship and she should be removed. We removed the citizenship of Shemaima Begum, who was born in the UK. Why did we do that? Because she was a supporter of ISIS. Supporting ISIS and supporting Hamas are the same thing. And people like that should lose their citizenship and they should be sent somewhere else. We don't need the Islamists. The Islamists need us. Ladies and gentlemen, what's your question? What's your question, sir? What's your question, sir?
I'm going to get you arrested for harassment.
What's your question?
I support ISIS.
I never said you did.
You just said I
said you support Hamas. I said you support Hamas. Where's your proof? You support Hamas. Are you happy with what they did?
Where's your evidence?
Are you happy with what they did? Those who have voiced support for Hamas in your workplace should be reported to the... Those who have voiced support for Hamas in your workplace should be reported. What they did.
Where's your
What's your question? The police are over there. Go get them. The police are over there. Go get them.
You're making false claims.
Go get the police.
You are inciting hate.
Go get the police. Go on, sir. What's the question?
You are supporting terrorism without any evidence.
Do you condemn Hamas?
Yes, I do. I
Did you condemn what they do?
Yes, I condemn the killing.
So great.
Why have you accused of supporting them? I support Palestine.
And who's fighting for Palestine?
The people.
Does that include Hamas? Does that include Hamas?
Hamas is a separate.
Right, what's your question, bro?
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, go on, what's your question? There you go.
You seem like a nice guy.
Yeah. Try to be.
Too much about you.
Try to
I
be.
can see that. Look, bro, there's obviously two sides, a lot of history.
Yep.
Right? Both sides have arguments.
Yep.
I was going to ask you, do you know what a goyim is? Have arguments.
Yep.
I was going to ask you, do you know what a goyim is? Goyim? G-O-Y-A-M. Do you know what that is?
What, sorry?
Do you condone? Habibi, one second.
What?
Do you know what a goyim is? Goyim?
Yeah, it's a racial slur.
What does it mean?
Well, no, actually, I think it's... No, hold on one second.
Let him talk.
Right. What it means, brother, what it means phonetically and what it means emotionally are not necessarily the same thing. Would you agree?
So I'll tell you.
So it means nations. It means the non-Israelites.
Okay, fair
right?
enough.
The Goyim.
Non-Jews.
Yeah, exactly.
Non-Israelites.
One second, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm doing a talk, so I've answered your question. Okay. Let me continue with my talk.
Okay,
I waited patiently.
To me, he listened. He's talking.
Yeah. Yeah,
Calm.
let me continue with my talk.
Brother,
No, brother, I'm doing the speech. Brother.
If you chant, we won't hear the conversation. Please.
Yeah.
He's trying to avoid
Right.
the question.
No, I'm trying to do a speech. That's what I'm trying to do. Right? And you were patient, and because you were patient and polite, I let you ask a question. I gave you your chance. You asked me a very technical question. I've answered the question. Yeah, well, you asked me. I said I'd take a question. I took a question. I've given an answer. I'd like to continue with my speech. If you wait patiently again, I'll come back to you.
I'm going to get going, but just a quick point on
No. Let me continue. Maybe one more point in my speech. Because I'm here to do a talk.
Because you answered.
I'm here to do a talk.
No, but brother, all I'm telling you, bro, is that regarding the Palestine-Israel situation,
Yes.
it's not very simple. It's not something that you could easily just...
You weren't here at the beginning of my talk, were you?
What did I miss at the beginning?
Yeah, I'm not going over the speech. You'll have to watch it on Soko Films. My point to you is that I've already admitted that it's complicated, and I'm on no one's side.
Okay, fair enough.
I've condemned Israel for its actions, where it persecutes Christians, where it oppresses. And then if you listen more, if I can actually get through my speech, you'll actually hear more of that as I go on. You'll actually hear more of that as I go on.
Regarding the Christians,
right?
You see, there's Muslims here that are speaking loud, and as you're a Christian, and I'm telling them to let the Christians speak.
And I appreciate that.
You want to know where I get that from?
I appreciate that.
You know where I get that from?
Right.
I get that literally from the Quran.
Right.
The Quran says if you see a Muslim,
let's not grab one another.
So in Islam, in the Quran, in the Quran, it literally tells you if a Muslim is oppressing a Christian, if a Muslim is oppressing a Christian,
and this is
you have to stand with the Christian.
This is why I want to continue with my speech. No, I'm going to continue with my speech. Because the point is I disagree. Because listen, bro, I'll happily come back to you. I'll let you make that point. Let me finish. Let me continue.
Bro, if you're going to talk about Islam, though, you have to also bring the beautiful.
And this is why. No, hold on. I don't. I have to do nothing.
If the Palestinians
I have to do nothing. Let's be clear. I have to do nothing. Are we agreed?
This place is crazy. It's making you crazy, bro.
Right?
I'm saying if the Palestinians, I'm telling you,
brother, I want to continue with my talk. Brother, I'll debate you on this point after the talk. I'll debate you on this point. Right. Yeah. No. Yeah.
That's very dangerous to say to somebody.
I didn't say you support.
You said I support ISIS.
I didn't. Take it to the police then. Take it to the police then. I'll take. No, I said, let's be clear. No, I'm not going to correct myself. I didn't say anything wrong the first time. I want to be clear because the lady has taken such umbrage. I want to put on record that I accept that not every Muslim supports Islamists and that we should make distinctions between Islamists and Muslims.
And what do you mean about
But I absolutely stand by my statement that every Islamist should be deported. Every Islamist.